My initial impression of the university when I arrived on campus was just the largeness of it.
Not just the size of the university, but coming from a high school class of 100 people, going into a classroom with over 100 students in it.
I came from a small town, and to be there with so many people was somewhat intimidating. But what I found is right from the very beginning, the students and especially the professors and teachers and staff at the university were so helpful, so kind, and really made you feel like a family. I think that's what Missouri State is, what we hear about it now too, is that when students come on campus, they feel like they belong.
I met a lot of long-term friends, lifelong friends. We did intramural sports, but the one thing I remembered in the winter of 1970 was the great snowball fight between Freddie and Shannon. And that year we did not get our room deposits back because there was no windows left on the first floor between Freddie and Shannon. And it was a very cold night for those people that were in those dorms that evening.
I think what would be my fondest memory is meeting my wife in the library. We were shelving books, and I pushed a big art book through on her head. But we ended up dating. We've been together 52 years, the happiest 52 years of my life.
My fondest memory of my time at Missouri State is kind of a different type of memory, perhaps, but I was married and living basically from paycheck to paycheck. It was really hard for us to take care of the things we needed to take care of then. And so one of my professors, out of the kindness of his heart, said, I'll just give you an advance on that. I was working for him at the time, and that made a huge difference in my life. The fact that one professor would reach out and do that meant a lot.
We had a number of concerts in McDonald Arena. One band showed up. It was a big name band, and their instruments didn't show up. And so they asked the crowd if anybody had instruments in their cars, and so these guys in the audience went out and got their instruments and gave it to the band, and the concert went on. And it was a big deal at the time. So we had a fun time.
Looking back on the past 50 years since I graduated from Missouri State, as I learned to interact with people of different cultures, different backgrounds, the ability to relate to people as they were was very helpful in making me successful in my career.
It was stepping out of the comfort level. And that is what I learned at Missouri State so many times, is step out of that comfort level. You're never going to succeed unless you get out of the level that you feel so comfortable in.
You cannot talk about the class of 73 without thinking about the social and political issues of the time. There was Vietnam, there was civil rights, there was counterculture movement. All of that was kind of high intensity. Before I graduated, the war had ended, and the biggest news was streaking on campus. And so it went from a high intense time to one that was a little bit more calm and laid back, so to speak.
I've stayed connected to the institution, the university, through sporting events, football, basketball. That was a lifelong love that my parents instilled in me in about 1958.
I have season tickets to the basketball and the football teams for over 40 years. And so I can't imagine my life without being connected to Missouri State, and feel fortunate that in fact I am that connected.
One of the best programs we have in this university is our MSU 62 program. I've been able to learn new skills. I'm getting better with the computer. I've been able to interact with the next generation of students who are going to be excellent citizens and leaders from the ones I've encountered in this country. The university is doing a wonderful job of turning out educated, concerned citizens.
But I followed in the newspapers, the sports pages, and obviously the Alumni Association. I've been impressed with the leadership of the current administration, especially. Back in my days, I knew the presidents and all the deans and was very impressed. Friends that I started with in campus, we still see each other on a constant basis. Those friendships we developed back then were important, and they continue to be important. And I think it's probably one of the biggest benefits of going to college. It was just enjoyable to represent the class at homecoming then and even now, 50 years later. The 60s were unlike any other period in time. and to see that we did survive and become successful, life has done nothing but improve.